Hello and welcome to another glorious read. I am your host, Aspen M. Sage. Welcome to the year 2025. I know it's been a long trip. I know I started late in the year, but I'm promising this year. We are back. I know last week I did not put a podcast out. With the Christmas and the New Year's and the Yule, it was just way too much. And then, of course, I got a really cool gift for Christmas, so I had to play around with it for a bit. uh, my other half got me a 3D printer. So, of course, I'm 3D printing stuff to add to my shop. What's exciting, I'm hoping to add some book stuff. I want to also get into the 3D programming kind of thing where you make your own 3D art. So I can do my own files and put some maybe book pieces, like bookends and stuff, maybe book holders, maybe even a Kindle holder, because I need one of those. But because it is a new year and, everybody makes their revolution for the year, or whatever you want to call it, what they want to give up, what they want to do. I'm hoping to keep reading, and I'm hoping to reach at least 50 books by March. That would be good. That's a good goal for me, at least. I'm hoping more. I'm also hoping maybe with an increase of luck, I can get my book one out of Daniel Aries after it is edited, publicized, whatever. I want to get a new cover made. I have the site of the cover I want to make, but I haven't done it yet. I know, slacking, but what can I say? I'm doing a lot of stuff with only a 24-hour span. But, it is what it is. You gotta make do. And like I said last week, I know I didn't post anything, but this week I am. And we're going to continue on the body count series. Last one was the book about Aaron, the book Aaron Obsession. And last time I was currently reading Connor's Claim. So this is book 2 of the body count series. This one is actually involving Aaron's secondhand man, his enforcer, whose name is Shade, and his crew. Shade is starting to think all these killings that were in book 1 are connected to him. At first, Aaron thought it was a sign that somebody was trying to make a calling card for him. Now Shade thinks it's for him. Shade's real name is Connor. And in the end of Aaron's obsession and going into Connor's Claim, it's talking about Connor realizing that the woman that he is obsessed with, who in a weird, twisted way, and I'm not really big into this, but it's not as bad, is his ex-stepsister in a way. So apparently her father married his mother, but they were only together less than a month. So I don't even think a marriage certificate goes through that quickly, to be honest with you. Like, to go through everything. I don't know how it works over in that country. It's over in England and UK, if it's finalized as soon as they sign or not, whatnot. Regardless, Connor is obsessed with the mayor's daughter. Her name is Everly. I love that name, by the way. For some reason, she's just very sweet. Everly is actually a bigger girl, so that's even better for me because she's just, how can I put it? She doesn't hold back. She's the mayor's assistant, also being the mayor's daughter. She did a lot to actually protect Connor from the past because Connor had this hate relationship with his ex stepfather. And of course, now being in the gang and crew, he's also still working with his ex stepfather and mayor. And he's just like, I hate you. And they're like, yeah, it's mutual. Anyway, so Connor realizes that Everly is in trouble and he goes to protect her and save her, whatnot. It's kind of a weird twist because Everly feels this weird sensation that something's not right. And she goes downstairs to her, through her mansion, the mayor's mansion, and she gets apprehended by a guy who happens to be Guinevere's brother, Rodion. And Rodion is trying to forewarn her that she's not safe and that the other gang, the Four Milers, are trying to abduct her for some reason. And she goes, "Why? I did nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah." And of course, Shade shows up to apprehend the situation. And he basically punches out Rodian, drugs Everly with a sedative, and kidnaps her. Takes her back to the warehouse in the apartment he lives in and, leaves her there. She's confused, but she knows it's him that kidnapped her. And she kind of feels safe. It's kind of a weird, twisted, like, he's my stalker. And he really is. He used to watch her sleep at night in her bed and just loom over her with the whole mask vibe. So it's a little eerie. Shade's a little more twisted than Aaron is. Aaron is more the rule follower. Shade is the guy that you don't really want to cross because he will kill you in your sleep. With him also being Aaron's enforcer, he also is due to do the dirty work. He is the one to kill the bad men, as he likes to call them, the people who shouldn't be given justice to and not be able to have freedom. So Everly is feeling conflicted. She meets Guinevere, and then new things come out. More family lines are twisted. And Everly finds out she has a half brother. Shade's not too happy about it either, but he's trying to make amends. And so it's just this weird concept that Shade is trying to keep Everly safe from the Four Milers, and yet at the same time, Everly is trying to win back his favor of falling in love again. She has adored him. She loves him so much. She really wants to be in his life. And of course, Shade's like, "Well, you didn't want to run away with me back then." Of course, the mayor is like, "What the hell's going on? Why have you been around? This, that." And this mayor guy, is not very kind anyway. He's a woman abuser. He is also, cunning. He used to be a Shade as a stepchild. He's very controlling. He even tries to marry off Everly to another guy who abuses his power. It is not a very clean or happy in this situation. So Shade's darker side comes out, and Everly realizes that the only way she's going to be able to get him to listen to her and talk to her in any way is to use his sedative against her. Or, well, vice versa, I guess. She's using his sedative against his own. So she drugs him up. It's game night. If you read the first book, you understand what game night is. She's basically having her way with him in a seductive way, like he has done to her in the past, the sedatives, where she can feel everything, but she just can't move. So she tells him why she was never able to run away and why he was threatened and everything and how much she loved him and stuff. Well, after all was said and done, she realized she made a fatal mistake. Because he's under the sedative, he wasn't able to move. And she's like, "Oh crap, how do I get him back?" She ends up calling Aaron to come get him. And Aaron's just like, "Oh, you poor bastard." It's a funny little friggin' family quirk going on. Like friends or family, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm never gonna let you live this down," kind of moment. Needless to say, so after all is said and done, Everly is wondering how he's gonna reject her. And it's actually funny because Connor, or aka Shade, takes his tattoo gun. He likes to give himself tattoos, and he starts tattooing her in her sleep, different words in different places. And she's like, "Oh, goodness gracious. Like, what did he write? That's forever on my body." He's really making sure that, I'm disrespected in every way because I deserved it for what I did to him. As she goes back to the mayor's um, place of work, she's writing up her letter of resignation, and she finds out that he basically kidnaps her to go back out with this Pierre guy who was her betrothed. Um, and she finally removes the tape and stuff that Shade put over her of all the words, and their love like claimed mine, um, beautiful and stuff like that because Everly has a body that she thinks most men don't enjoy, and Shade is trying to show her even at the club where there was another bear woman named Tabitha doing a act is the best way I could put it in the cleanest way with two men. She realizes that even bigger or thicker women can be goddesses, and Shade basically explains that to her, and he treats her like a goddess as well. Um, but Everly's like, wow, I didn't know it was possible. And after a while, she realizes that she should not bend to her father's will. And she finds out, of course, about her stepbrother, that her father knew about him and how he basically wanted to exterminate him and everything. Well, her new stepbrother also now works for the crew, so Aaron's gang. Um, and during this whole kidnap fiasco between the mayor's daughter and Shade, Shade comes back with a tablet in his hand and says, "You return her regardless, or you're going to have to deal with the consequences." And he's like, "Well, why is that? I can turn you in for so many murders." And he basically taps the screen, and of course, the mayor sees all of Aaron's crew behind him, including Aaron himself, saying basically, "You're outnumbered. If you want to play this route, you're going to face the consequences on that one." So he takes the tablet, and it's the stepbrother, along with two of the senators who said some unkind things about Everly, and who obviously work for the mayor and also go to the club. So they have their dirty secrets. And this Pierre guy who's supposed to be picking up Everly. And Shade basically says, "You are to return her to me. She is mine forever, and that you are no longer welcome to have contact with her. If you ever so do, I will make your life a living hell." Basically says he will make sure that everything is done to make him fall. And then when Everly comes over, he basically tells the mayor he has to pick one guy to save. Who does he want to save? Does he want to save this Pierre guy, or is he going to save one of his senators? And in a panic, the mayor just shouts out that he wants Pierre to save, and Shade's like, okay, and walks away. And Everly says she didn't understand what happened. And Shade basically explains that he knew what happened. He knew that she was abducted. He let her know that she's got a tracker in her. He basically comes clean. And then her and Guinevere and Shade and Cassie, who's also in the first book and the second book, who's one of Aaron's friends, sisters kind of thing, start basically interrogating these men, Pierre, the two senators. They realize that the senators are there because Shade told Everly whoever picked on her would face his wrath, and now she knew why they were there. And the reason why the mayor was told to pick one is he wanted to show the senators where his loyalty lied. So to not basically pick friends that, you know, would screw you over. And the senators realize that now. And of course, both senators are clean. They're not guilty of the murders, not just because they have alibis, but because also how they felt about the women being murdered and how they found out that one was pregnant, and they're like, if I knew, I would have took care of her just like I do the other ones, and yada yada yada. So they're basically clean. The Pierre guy, on the other hand, he is not convicted of the murders, but he is just a nasty guy. And Cassie basically comes to the point where she takes a knife from Shade and basically goes into his manhood to stab him. And of course, Pierre just loses his shit. Like, he's panicking because of all the stuff that was going on around him. You know, the stepbrother's there, and he talks smack. He talks smack about Everly. He talks smack about Shade. And then all of a sudden, he's in this position where if he says one more thing, he's going to lose his junk. And Cassie will make sure that she does it. Of course, Shade keeps his word. He releases the 3 men. And of course, I think when he does this, a little mind thought that I went through is that the reason why he let the senators go without consequences is the idea that he wants to cause a problem within the walls of the mayor's seating so they could basically be more in his favor. And it's also another thing that the cops are also in Aaron's back pocket too. So the mayor kind of doesn't know what to do with himself because he's like, I have the cops on speed dial kind of thing. And the gang's like, bitch, please. They pay us because we have dirt on them. So it's a lot of dirt on dirt. What I understand with the whole like crime going on, you know, it's kind of funny because the cops have dirt on obviously Aaron and his crew and Shade. And they have dirt on them because they know they come to the brothel, what they do. And they also know that they're giving them the information to find these bad people to kill them off. And they also know the mayor comes in to visit the brothel and do stuff that they're not supposed to and whatnot. And he also knows that he's smuggling this and that, and he's also working with the other gangs. So they find out about that too, is that Red and the 4 Milers open up their own brothel, and that's not where it goes. You know, they're supposed to be running drugs, and another gang's supposed to be running firearms, and these one, they do the women. So now that they're basically stealing these girls and opening up their own brothel, and they have a brothel license that the mayor pushed through, now they have an issue. And they find out that convict that they put in wants to come home, and he can't come home because obviously he'll compromise everything. So poor convict is in the middle of it, and then one of the main characters that was in the first book and most of the second book goes missing. Of course, they find her in the most gruesome way possible, and they kind of leave the book off at that. This book has good amount of spice. Connor is constantly all over Everly and doing stuff to her, and she is so happy about it. The spice level, I give it a 4. I mean, there was parts where I would give it a 5, but if I run a solid 4.7, I think I'd be happy. Like I said, this has got the mass stalker vibe kind of thing going on. I really don't count, and I constantly forgot about the whole step sibling thing because, like, I don't do the whole step sibling thing, but I will accept it in this book because it wasn't long enough for me. And plus they didn't share parents, so we're good. But definitely a little bit of the dark vibe, especially with the whole stalking, the kidnapping, and the drugging. And of course the mask work. But yeah, the whole book, I'd give it a 5. Yeah, I definitely give it a 5. I liked it. I definitely did. And like I said, I'm on the 3rd book now, which is the last of the series that I know of. And it's about Rodian and Rodian's revenge. And of course, our lovely character, Cassie. Cassie is a funny character. I really like her. But in this book, previous Connor's Claim, I can't pick between the male character and the female character. There was times where I wanted to thump him in the head for being so dense and so straight-minded. And I wanted to, like, yell at her for being like, don't be a pushover. But they clean each other up so well. Like, they really do balance each other out between his darkness and her lightness. Even when she witnessed him killing a man, she was there for him. And he's like all bloody and stuff. And literally they do it, and she's cool about it. She goes, I understand why you have to do it because they're bad people. And he goes, yeah, that one was going after somebody he's gone after before. And she goes, no, I totally understand. And I respect what you do. She goes, and I will protect you and hold on to you and stuff. So they balance each other out. She's definitely the light character. He's definitely the dark character. I love them both. I cannot pick a favorite. And yeah, I'm excited to see how far I get into Rodian's Revenge to see how this goes. Like, I'm good amount in. I wouldn't say I'm more than 40%, to be honest with you, but it's definitely a good book so far, especially when Cassie kidnaps somebody and her family's there and they're like, Cassie, we do not kidnap people. Repeat after me. We do not sedate and kidnap people. And she's like, we kidnap the guy we like. Okay. So she's a funny little character. I love her so much. And so far, she's definitely winning my affection in this book. So like I said, solid 5-star review on the Connor's Claim of the Body Count series. And definitely, I cannot pick a favorite. It is a good book. I like how it's written. And I'm curious. I'm starting to question and have theories who the killer is of all these females. I really am. And I'm thinking it's not who everybody expects it is. I either think it's one of the dancers, or I think it's actually somebody obsessed with Rodian. I really do. Because it is just so many coincidences. Sorry, it's one of the words I can't say. That it makes me go, oh, and especially when Cassie becomes a target. So that makes me go, oh, okay, yep, I got you now. I know what's going on. So I got theories. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I don't want to ruin the books for you. So definitely pick up these books. I definitely suggest that they're on Amazon. And of course, read the other books I've recommended. So it's by Jolie Vines, and I'm excited to see how this one book ends. After this book, I don't know. I have to read lists so long. I need to start picking up. I know a lot of them are actually book series, and I'm trying to stay away from the big book series because there's a lot of like, I'm more of a jumper. I like to go between my shifters and my dark romance and then shift back. I keep going back and forth because I don't want to read the same thing over and over with the same storyline. And I definitely know the Lexi Cephas has some new books out, and I'm still waiting for some of the new ones. But I just saw also there's a new book by Jolie's that's actually called The Skeleton Crew. I might have to read that because I'm kind of curious to know what that one's like. Because if it's the Skeleton Crew, then it's about Aaron and all them, and see how that one, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the whole series. I'm curious now. I'll have to look into that. But thank you everybody for listening in, and welcome to 2025. Let's make it a good year. Fill up those bookshelves, maybe put some new bookshelves in, and definitely keep on reading because you know what? We need it to escape fantasy. Keep to yourselves, do what you need to do. Go on an adventure, try something new, and make it a beautiful day. Don't let anybody, tear you down. I know that for some zodiac signs, it is the villain era. And you know what? Some of us book lovers love the villains. I personally have not found a villain I like yet. But we'll see. I'm sure there's somebody out there that I will like. I know in my book, Cain, I have a lot of people tell me when is he going to die. So I have not found a like for Cain yet. I do have sympathy for him, but I don't like him. Well, with that being said, I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas, New Year's, or whatever else holiday that you celebrated. And I will catch you on the next one. As always, thanks for you guys' support. Keep on listening, keep on liking, and I will catch you next time. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.